everyone. It's Maya. Welcome to Outside the Drama, the podcast where we keep it real and cut the drama. Today, we're talking about one type of person whose presence can drain your energy faster than a family dinner with that one aunt who always asks, "So, when are you finally going to meet someone, I'm talking about entitled people. People who are convinced that everything is owed to them automatically. No questions asked, no effort required, and preferably right away. I know them well, too well, and chances are, so do you. So today isn't about red flags in romantic relationships. It's about spotting red flags in anyone, not just someone you're dating. Because the truth is, an entitled person could be your partner, your boss, your friend, or that person in the group chat who never contributes but always expects something. Sound familiar? Yeah, thought so. So what actually is an entitled person? It's someone who expects special treatment without having done anything to earn it. It's not the same as having needs or boundaries. We all have those. This is a mindset. An attitude of, I deserve this, without giving anything in return, without considering the other person's reality. And watch out, they don't always yell. Entitlement doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes it sounds like, "Wait, what do you mean you can't help me right now? Come on, it'll only take a second." Or, "I would have done it for you." They apply emotional pressure. They manipulate, guilt trip, and act like you're the bad guy for not giving them what they want on demand. Important note, entitlement is not the same thing as narcissism. Not every entitled person is a narcissist, and not every narcissist is entitled in every situation. Entitlement can be a personality trait, a learned behavior, not necessarily a disorder. Sometimes it's just habit. Sometimes it's upbringing. Sometimes it's a defense mechanism. And it's important to know the difference so we don't label everyone the same way. Makes you feel guilty, even when they're the one crossing boundaries. One of my friends, let's call him Jacob, had a buddy who only ever called when he needed something. Rides, money, help moving, cat sitting, you name it. And the one time Jacob said, "Sorry, I can't," the response was, "Really? I thought we were friends." Classic. Entitled people love to blur the lines, like confusing loyalty with favors. So where does it come from? Psychologically? Often from a feeling of lacking control over their own life and the belief that the world owes them compensation. Sometimes it's how they were raised. Parents did everything for them, so they never learned that other people's needs matter too. Other times, it's a coping mechanism. It's easier to believe everyone owes me than to face the scary idea that you have to build something from scratch. But hey, your role isn't to fix them. Let me say it clearly. It is not your responsibility to change them. You won't. Trust me. Let's be clear, an entitled person isn't just a difficult case. It's emotionally draining, your time, your energy, sometimes even your money. After a while, you start to feel drained, guilty for saying no, even when you hadn't done anything wrong. Like your needs always come last, just to avoid causing drama. Or worse, you avoid them altogether because every conversation might end in a guilt trip or meltdown. What really hurts, though? You start to lose touch with yourself because you constantly feel like you should be doing more for them. Sound familiar? And the worst part? You know what it is? Here's the kicker. They often don't see a problem. To them, it's totally normal that people should just know what they need. Everything should revolve around their day, their feelings, their schedule. They perceive the word no as an attack. Not now means you're not a real friend, decent human being. And if you try to explain anything, you'll probably hear, "I never ask for anything big. Is it so bad that I counted on you?" And somehow, they're the one who ends up feeling hurt. So, how do you deal with them? Learn to say no. You have the right to not have the strength, time, or energy. Just say, I can't do it today. That's all you need to say. You don't have to explain or justify anything. Period. But here's the thing. Saying no isn't just a word. It's a mindset, a boundary. Assertiveness isn't being rude. It's respecting yourself and the other person. I know it's hard, especially if you grew up being taught to always be nice. But healthy relationships are based on mutual respect for each other's limits. Pay attention to whether the relationship is two-way. Does this person check in with you when they don't need anything? Are your needs considered just as important? Or are you just their free emotional labor? Don't fall for emotional blackmail. I'm disappointed in you. You're not who I thought you were. That's not a healthy response to not getting someone a ride to the airport. That's manipulation. Ask yourself, what am I actually getting out of this relationship? Relationships are about mutual care, not one-sided giving. Because when that happens, it's not partnership anymore. It's exploitation. Now, helping others is great. Supporting people, showing up for them, that's what good relationships are built on. But the key word is balance. It's not about shutting people out or never helping anyone. It's about not getting used and not losing yourself in the process. Healthy support doesn't make you feel drained, guilty, or invisible. And one last thing, if you notice a pattern of attracting entitled people, take a moment to reflect. Maybe you've got a rescuer mindset. Maybe you struggle to say no because you want to be liked, or you believe your needs aren't as important. That's not something to be ashamed of. It's something worth noticing and working on. Sometimes we have to learn to set boundaries and take care of ourselves so we don't end up becoming a 24/7 service station. And finally, an entitled person doesn't always look like a villain. They don't always yell. Sometimes it's the lost-looking friend, the poor me coworker, or the sweet partner who just can't do anything without you. But give them a finger and they'll take your whole hand. Then your house, your dog, your Netflix password. I've seen it. No joke. I'm not saying be cold or never help anyone. I'm saying help where it makes sense and where people also give something in return. Because emotional leeches don't come with warning labels. And before you know it, you're a burned out version of yourself in a relationship that slowly empties you out. And remember, taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's common sense. Thanks for being here today. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you have people like this in your life? And if this resonated, leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot. And it keeps me going. This was Outside the Drama. I'm Maya. See you soon.